silent majority. Give us that one.
OK, it goes back a long way. It goes back to 1815, would you believe? I wouldn't have expected that out of American politics in 1815. The Oxford says the silent majority is the mass of people usually overlooked because of their moderation. Isn't that interesting? Because of their moderation. The expression died for a long time and was revived in 1969 by Richard Nixon when he gave a speech 3rd of November 1969 on the Vietnam War, talking about the silent majority of my fellow Americans. And it has a second meaning. The silent majority also means the dead. Earlier generations, they are necessarily silent, and there are more of them than there are of us. And we listen to their voices when we listen to tradition. Chesterton said, G.K. Chesterton said, tradition is the democracy of the dead. And that's an important silent majority we should not forget.
I like that. I like that. It reminds me of that definition of a conservative, someone who doesn't think they're morally superior to their grandparents. I like that one as well.
Yes, yep.
Hey, self-defence versus retaliation. There's nuance in that language, isn't there?
There is. In fact, there's an important distinction. Is Israel engaged in self-defence or retaliation? Retaliate comes from a Latin source word which meant to do to your enemy what your enemy's done to you. And the Oxford says the modern meaning of retaliation is the same. It's striking back in kind. Now, if Israel was doing that, they would be kidnapping Palestinians and holding them for hostage. They'd be beheading babies. They would be killing children in front of their parents. So what they're doing is not retaliation, it is self-defence. And the international law says self-defence is a government defending itself either in response to or anticipation of military attack. And that word anticipation means there's a strong element of prevention in self-defence, and that is what Israel is doing.
Well, something Hamas is doing and terror groups are doing this right around the world. I think it really took on another meeting with Islamic State. But propaganda, the war of information, where's propaganda come from?
Comes from a Latin source word, which is from where we get propagation and propagate, and basically to have children. And the idea of propaganda is you use disinformation, misinformation, to use the modern terms, to turn people into little copies of yourself, to get them all thinking exactly the same as you. Here you are, little mini-me's, think like me. That's what the word propaganda means, and it's one of the reasons why it is so dangerous.